When the pitbull bit me in the ass, and other stories from a gringo in Mexico.
Story 3. Insomnia and the Old Woman in the Night.
By Nathaniel Kostar.
At 4:30 in the morning, I awake to the sound of a solitary singer crooning a soft, mournful tune into the city night. In the historic center of Mexico City, I've grown accustomed to being woken in the middle of the night. A store alarm, an ambulance's siren, a motorcycle's growl, a drunk's tortured shout. But I've never heard this dreamlike harmony before. Curious, I rise from bed, go to the window and open the wooden doors to my balcony to look down on the street, where I see a procession of men and women walking in the direction of the Zócalo. The night is cold, and the women wear thick shawls. Some have blankets wrapped around their shoulders and waist. They look tired and their faces are flushed from the cold air and the journey. How many miles have these people walked? Where's their destination? Perhaps they're headed to La Basilica de Guadalupe, I think, as they file past, undeterred by the gringo perched on the balcony watching. Many congregations and communities make pilgrimage to La Basilica. If I'm correct, they still have a long way to go, since it's located about 8 kilometers from the city center. The song is coming from the front of the line, but the front of the line is past, so I cannot pinpoint the singer. The voice floats back into my ears like sonic smoke. Also at the front, men are carrying a wooden box that holds a Catholic saint, but it's too far beyond my field of vision to see clearly. As the people pass about 10 meters behind the penultimate person, I see an old woman with a cane. She's in her mid to late 80s, and when she notices she's fallen behind, she quickens her pace. Before long, a younger woman circles back and lends her an arm to lean on, and together, in the dark of night, in the heart of Tenochtitlan, the two women march towards some unknown, mysterious destination. Where are you going? I want to shout. Why are you going where you're going in the cold, dark heart of the night? But I only watch with wonder. And when the procession passes out of sight, I close the doors to my balcony, climb back in bed with my Chihuahua Chia, and think about the strength and resilience of the Mexican people. Where does it come from? Is it part of the Catholic tradition? After all, Jesus wasn't complaining on the cross. Is it part of the indigenous tradition? A lesson gained from falling, but learning to survive in a new world? I think about Christmas at my mother-in-law's house, where dinner is served sometime after midnight and the party that follows lasts until dawn. And how no one leaves to put the kids to bed, but rather the kids fall asleep on couches or in corners, drop off like flies, learning at a young age to put the desires of their parents and hence the world before their own. Learning at a young age that they are not the center of the universe, that comfort is not always the top priority, and that the communion of the party, the celebration, demands a certain amount of self-sacrifice. I think about how I have never heard my mother-in-law, who is in her 70s and spends her days cooking for her enormous family and the flocks of people who come to her restaurant for tamales and menudo, complain. Even when she says the words, "I'm tired," or "my legs hurt," it is usually with a smile on her face and followed quickly by a, "Are you hungry?" In other words, what can I do for you? Then, for some reason, a vision comes. I'm a pedicab driver in New Orleans again, watching a group of Americans in their 60s and early 70s on Bourbon Street, hooting and hollering as they speed their motorized wheelchairs down the middle of the busy pedestrian street, drinks in hand, heading for another bar. In this vision, there is no self-sacrifice, only self-interest and self-indulgence. With eyes closed and head on the pillow, I think about the woman at the back of the line, hunched over but head up, her arms supported by a sturdy love, hobbling through the cold dark of the night towards some symbolic or imaginary destination, old but wise, slow but steady, frail but determined, unimaginably powerful in her conviction. Lastly, I wonder why at 5, then 6 in the morning, my mind won't stop walking, opining, imagining some symbolic or imaginary destination, carrying on, step over step, thought over thought, word over word, into the deep cold recesses of the night, when what I really need in the moment is to be still, quiet, and fall asleep.